Swimming deep in the ocean, meet Finley the dolphin. Always on the lookout for records that have been forgotten. From old advertising jingles and budget harmonies, Finley will share them all and dive into the mystery.
Hello swimmers, Finley the Dolphin here, resurfacing with a story that lives between the grooves. These aren't the usual records you find in thrift store bins. These discs were never sold. They were mailed directly to radio stations by the Veterans Administration. Each one carried not only music but messages of care. They called the series, Here's to Veterans. A few minutes of programs, a familiar voice, a few songs, and a quiet public service announcement about things that mattered. Education, hospital appointments, the GI Bill. Nothing flashy, just human voices trying to reach other human beings. And what voices they were! George Benson opened one episode, smooth as sunlight on open water. His guitar playing said everything without saying a word. K-Star followed, that Oklahoma-born powerhouse whose voice could swing or cry on command. She spoke about veterans returning to school, the same way she'd once sung through the hardships of the Depression and the Jazz Age. Producer Dave Dexter Jr. hosted one program. Usually found behind the console at Capitol Records, he brought history to life. Introducing Julia Lee's musical scrapbook, her piano rolled like laughter in a dim Kansas City club, reminding listeners that even tough times deserve a good melody. Then came the country boys. Freddie Hart, once a Marine, sang with the same steady grace that carried him through war and into the charts. Merle Haggard told his truth, a man who'd walked the long road from trouble to redemption. And then there was George Lindsay, good old Gomer Pyle from the television show Gomer Pyle, USMC. His drawl made the GI Bill sound like a neighbor's advice over morning coffee. The later programs shifted in tone. Randy Crawford brought the cool ease of 1970s soul. Sergio Franchi closed the set, an Italian tenor whose voice filled the air with warmth and gratitude. Together, they formed a kind of musical thank you letter, pressed in vinyl, mailed with care, and played at your local radio station for everyone who'd served. When I listen to these records, I don't just hear songs, I hear understanding. I hear a nation learning how to speak gently to its veterans, not with slogans, but with sincerity. So as we cue up the first side, let's listen the way they intended us to, with patience, respect, and maybe just a touch of salt in the air. So until next time, keep your stylus clean, your records dry, and your heart tuned to the background.
George Benson on Here's to Veterans. Here's to Veterans, a toast from this radio station to former servicemen and women, produced by the Veterans Administration in cooperation with the American Federation of Musicians, whose members donate their talents to keep you entertained and informed.
Hello, this is George Benson, and our opening number is called Breezin' from my album on Warner Brothers with the same title. Here it is. We'll be back with more music in a moment, but first, a few words from the Veterans Administration.
Thanks, George. I have here a special invitation to men and women coming home from military service. It's from the thousands of benefits counselors at Veterans Administration offices all across the USA, including Alaska, Hawaii, and from offices in the Philippines and Puerto Rico. They invite you, my veteran friends, to come in for a talk. Taking them up on that offer could be the first step toward a brighter future for you and your family. You can tell the counselor about yourself, about your goals. Then that counselor will tell you how the VA can help you toward the goals. That's right, the VA will help you because of the entitlements you earn by your time in service. If your discharge was other than dishonorable, you're eligible for benefits worth thousands of dollars, benefits that may be used to help you achieve your goals. Well, more about that later, but first here again is George Benson.
Thanks very much. And now here's Affirmation from the album Breezin'. And again, here's the VA man with words of interest to veterans.
Right, George Benson. You know, earlier I extended an invitation from benefits counselors at the Veterans Administration to come in for a visit when you get home from military service. They can help ease the problems of your transition from military to civilian life because they'll fill you in on the many benefits available to you. There are some benefits that have deadlines. Others are available whenever you need them. You could be eligible for medical and dental treatment, education, or job training, a home loan guarantee, re-employment rights, low-cost insurance, and many, many other benefits. Don't put it off. Visit your nearest Veterans Administration regional office or a service organization representative right away for full details. Okay, George, what do you have planned for us next?
We would like to do a number that's included in my latest album, the album which has been playing for you all along. The title is Breezin', and the song is Lady. George Benson again. It's been a pleasure being on Here's to Veterans, and we'll be back another day, I hope. Now, as our music closes, here's Masquerade.
Are we really happy here with this lonely game we play? Looking for words to say, searching but not finding understanding anywhere. We're lost in a masquerade. Both afraid to say we're just too far away from being close together from the start. We tried to talk it over, but the words got in the way. We're lost inside this lonely game we play. Hearts of weeping disappear every time I see your eyes. No matter how hard I try to understand the reasons that we carry on this way. We're lost in a masquerade.
Thanks to George Benson for this fine tribute to America's veterans. This radio station has contributed broadcast time in the public interest to this program, transcribed by the Veterans Administration in cooperation with the American Federation of Musicians. They all join me in saying, here's to veterans.
And from Hollywood, this is George Benson saying, until next time, be good to yourself.
Hi, everyone. This is K-Star, and I'd like to have a word with the ladies listening. Say, do you realize the important role women have played in this country's armed forces? Why, more than 100,000 have served in one branch of this service or another, and that's just since 1955. You know, the female veterans have the same benefits coming from the Veterans Administration as the male veterans. You can get help going to school or training for a job under the GI Bill. You can get a home loan guaranteed by the VA, medical care. Wow, there's a long list of benefits that you're entitled to as a veteran. And do you know that you have exactly the same rights to them as the male veteran? Yes, sir. This is K-Star suggesting you women veterans phone or drop by a VA office and see if they can't help you reach your own personal goals in life.
Your musical scrapbook on Here's to Veterans. Here's to Veterans, a salute from this radio station to former servicemen and women, produced by the Veterans Administration. Your musical scrapbook is filled with America's best recorded music. A man who has produced many hit records during the past 25 years is Dave Dexter, now with the show business magazine Billboard, and author of Playback, a definitive book about music and the recording industry. Dave, what's the lineup on the scrapbook today?
Hometowns, Boonville, Missouri on the Missouri River, and Kansas City, Missouri. Occupation, pianist, vocalist, and nice woman. Julia Lee.
Tonight, I mustn't think of him. Music maestro, please. Tonight I must forget those precious hours. No hearts and flowers. Play your lilting melody. Ragtime, jazz time, swing. Any old thing to help me ease the pain that solitude can bring. He used to like waltzes, so please don't play a waltz. He danced divinely. I loved him so. But there I go tonight. I mustn't think of him. No more memories. So play tonight, I must forget. Music maestro, please. Tonight, I mustn't think of him. No more memories. So play tonight, I must forget. Music maestro, please.
Music Maestro, please, and that goes back to 1937, a version by our guest, Julia Lee. Here is information from the Veterans Administration.
Okay, thank you, Dave Dexter. You know, when someone is alone, without family or friends, well, life can seem dismal at times, and never more so than when that person is ill, without the money to get medical attention. Well, that's one worry most veterans won't have, I'm happy to say. You see, the Veterans Administration's nationwide hospital and clinic system was established to help provide health care second to none for America's veterans. Veterans are admitted to VA hospitals according to priorities set up nationwide. Veterans who suffered an illness or injury while on active duty have first priority for admittance to a VA hospital. Second priority is given to veterans who were disabled while in service, but who need treatment for conditions that are not connected with their time in service. If you're not in those two categories, you could still be eligible for VA health care, and we'll talk more about that later, but first here again is Dave Dexter.
Coming up, a most unusual ballad, perhaps the most unusual ever recorded. I'm not even sure this record was ever released, but I remember recording it many, many years ago with Julia Lee for Capitol, and I don't believe we ever got it released. So let's sit back and listen to something that isn't going to be heard on a top 40 station tonight. Pipe Dreams.
This gown of mine was made by a multimillionaire. I was riding in an airplane 5 million feet up in the air. My shoes were made by Vanderbilt, my cigarettes by Gould. I smoked them 'cause they each cost me $1 million cool. Each day I take a trip to Mars in my new style airplane motor car. I have so many diamonds, I just shoot 'em at the stars. Dreaming, I must be dreaming. Then my pipe goes out. Have you ever met young Rockefeller? Well, he's my best friend. I also own old New York City. Got 1,000 men. I have a 20-acre gold mine right at my back door. Then my pipe goes out. Say, waiter, bring me a golden steak. And serve it on a diamond plate. Bring some Bass's ale in a platinum pail. As my smoke curls round and round.
Well, that song goes back so many years that I don't even remember it. Pipe Dreams by Julia Lee. Here now, the voice of the VA.
Yes, Dave, I mentioned earlier that veterans who are ill or disabled from service-connected causes have priority for admittance to a Veterans Administration hospital. Second priority is given to disabled veterans who need treatment for non-service-related medical problems. Now, there's a third priority group. It's for veterans who need hospitalization but who are unable to pay for private care. There are 171 hospitals and 209 outpatient clinics in the VA healthcare system, so there's probably one near your home. In addition, the VA contracts for services in many areas where there are no VA doctors or dentists. You must remember, though, that veterans whose illness is non-service connected can be admitted to VA hospitals only when the bed is not needed for a service-disabled veteran. Find out about your eligibility by contacting your nearest Veterans Administration Assistance Center or Veterans Service Organization representative. And now with more music, here again, Dave Dexter.
It's been a while since we've heard a good old Bessie Smith song, and here's one that was one of Bessie's best, and certainly nobody can recreate it better than the late Julia Lee. Nobody knows you when you're down and out.
Once I lived the life of a millionaire, spending my money, didn't have a care, taking my friends out for a good time. I bought them suppers, champagne and wine. Soon as I began to fall so low, couldn't find a friend, know where I'd go. If I ever get my hands on $1 again, I'm gonna hold it till that eagle says, I'm your friend. Nobody knows you when you're down and out. In your pocket, not one penny, and your friends, boy, you haven't any. Soon as you get on your feet, plenty friends you chance to meet, but it's mighty strange, without a doubt. Nobody knows you when you're down and out.
When Julia Lee made records, they were usually either in Kansas City, whenever I could get back there, or in Los Angeles. And invariably, we always used the very best musicians. We had Benny Carter on alto saxophone, Vic Dickinson playing trombone. Baby Lovett was her steady drummer from Kansas City. We used Red Nichols on trumpet, and all just the very best we could get, and the musicians were so eager to record with her. Now, I don't recall who played on this record, but they were good musicians. This song goes clear back to right after World War I, a tune that, well, it may be pretty well forgotten now, but not in Julia Lee's hands. Here's I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles.
I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. They fly so high, nearly reach the sky. Just like my dreams, they fade and die. Fortune's always hiding. I've looked everywhere. I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. Blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. They fly so high, nearly reach the sky. Just like my dreams, they fade and die. Fortune's always hiding. I've looked everywhere. I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. Pretty bubbles in the air.
Music by the late Julia Lee on our musical scrapbook. Thank you for listening. This is Dave Dexter in Hollywood.
Thanks to Billboard Magazine's Dave Dexter, author of Playback, for presenting your musical scrapbook. This radio station has contributed broadcast time in the public interest to this program, produced by the Veterans Administration. All of us join in saying, here's to veterans.
Hello, this is Freddie Hart talking to you with a suggestion from the Veterans Administration. Veterans can avoid long waits at VA hospitals and clinics by simply calling for an appointment. It's that simple. Remember, if you're making a routine visit to a VA hospital and clinic for medical treatment, call the VA first and ask for a scheduled appointment. It'll save you and the VA a lot of time. It will also make it easier for the next veteran who needs treatments. God love you.
Merle Haggard on Here's to Veterans. Here's to Veterans, a toast from this radio station to former servicemen and women. Produced by the Veterans Administration in cooperation with the American Federation of Musicians, whose members donate their talents to keep you entertained and informed. And now here's Merle with some thoughts about trains and his latest album.
First thing I remember knowing was a lonesome whistle blowing and the youngest dream of growing up to ride. But that's another song and another story. But it was a train whistle much the same as that caused some worrisome years for my mama and started a lifelong love affair with trains. Every time I hear the sound of a train coming down that railroad track, I get that faraway look in my eye. And I'd like to throw my hammer down and take off to some distant town and not even take the time to say goodbye. But I've got to think about my babies, about my job and my old lady, and how much she'd miss me if I was gone. And I love them more than anything, but I got this feeling about trains, and sometimes I wish I was on that train and gone. But that train keeps rolling down the track, bringing my old memories back, making hobo blood boil in my veins, reviving my old love affair with trains. The nights ain't never long enough. My wife keeps saying, you get up or you'll be late for work and miss your ride. I grab my dinner, bucket up, and jump on the back of Joe's pickup truck, and I wonder if I'll jump that train tonight. And it wasn't long ago that I was free to jump that train and drive, but I gave it up to be a family man. And I don't suppose I'll ever go, but when I hear that whistle blow, I think of my old love affair again. That train keeps coming down the track, bringing my old memories back, making the hobo blood boil in my veins, reviving my old love affair with trains.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that song. This is Merle Haggard, and we'll be back after a few words from the Veterans Administration.
Thanks, Merle. You know, the outside world can slip dangerously far away from a veteran traveling the long, hard road to recovery in a Veterans Administration hospital. He lives a protected life in the hospital, but unless he can be brought in touch with activities of the outside world, his recovery and return to normal life may be delayed. That's why there's a very special group of people at each VA hospital across the country. They're not doctors, nurses, or medical professionals. They are the men and women of all ages who make up the VA's voluntary service. Because of them, our nation's sick and disabled veterans are given a vital link between the hospital and the outside world. The volunteers do not replace hospital staff members. Their generous contributions of time and efforts are aimed toward bringing a touch of home, a feeling of belonging, a bond with the outside world, and help to instill a desire to get well to the incapacitated veterans. We'll talk more about the VA's voluntary service in just a moment, but Merle, how did you happen to write this next song? Will you tell us, sir?
The thought that inspired me to write this next song in some ways may seem premature, the title being simply No More Trains to Ride.
Because if you really want to go to enough trouble, you can still hop a freight and make your way across the country. But stiffer penalties and trespassing laws upon railroad property will discourage most any young man from choosing this method of travel. Let's say, like over hitchhiking. And if you'll examine closely the times in which we live, I think maybe you'll agree that this song may not be quite so premature after all.
I was raised in a Santa Fe River in a little California town, 3 doors down from the railroad track where they set the old boxcar down. Born the son of a railroad man who rode 'em until he died. I'd like to live like my daddy did, but there's no more trains to ride. No more trains to ride. No more trains to ride. I'd like to live like daddy did, but there's no more trains to ride. No more trains to ride. No more trains to ride. I'd like to live like daddy did, but there's no more trains to ride. Yeah.
More music from Merle Haggard in a moment. 10 million hours of service are donated each year by the more than 100,000 volunteers in the Veterans Administration's voluntary service. The volunteers range from high school age to senior citizens, and they participate as individuals and as members of organizations. To help America's veterans by providing non-medical but essential assistance, they give instructions in music, art, sports, photography, crafts, and dramatics. Volunteers show films, they arrange parties and entertainment. They also read letters to and write letters for the hospitalized veterans. Most important, they provide warm companionship that can aid the successful recovery of a veteran. You too can become a member of the VA-VS. You don't have to have special skills. It only takes a compassionate heart. Contact the Voluntary Service Director at your nearest Veterans Administration hospital just as soon as you can. Now let's eavesdrop on this conversation between Merle Haggard and a young man on the move.
Son, tell me something. What would you like to be when you grow up?
I'd like to be a fireman.
A fireman? You mean the kind of fireman that puts out fires or the kind that works on a railroad engine?
The kind that puts out fires. But I'd like to be a railroad engineer, too. Or I'd like to be a soldier.
That's a normal reply that you might receive from a 10 or 12-year-old boy when I was growing up. And the attitude of boys around our great country for over 100 years. The railroad engineer was a prime example of an American hero. And here's the story of one typical railroad engineer who wouldn't give up his train for anything.
I pulled into Memphis 13 minutes early, first time in 2 weeks. That's where she came to meet me as I stepped down off 451 and needed sleep. And the baby's overdue, I know, and you need some things. But the more that we discuss it, it's the same. Long train rolling, got a feeling, and I'm knowing she's not waiting for me. These rails keep getting longer, this feeling's getting stronger, it won't let me be. Yeah, I love my woman, fire and rain, but I won't give up my train. Baby came in April while I was in Chicago in the pouring rain. With 4 flat cars, a rusty tanker, 3 box cars, and an empty sack of mail. And though I'll be lonely some nights, I know there's just no other way to explain. Long train rolling, got a feeling and I'm knowing she's not waiting for me. Those rails keep getting longer, this feeling's getting stronger, it won't let me be. Though I love my woman, fire and rain, I won't give up my train. Oh, I love my woman, fire and rain, I won't give up my train.
This next selection completes the story of my love affair with trains, and it's a special part of this album, because it would be impossible for me to be as familiar with trains as I am and not respectfully acknowledge the railroad's most famous patron, the hobo.
You might find me in most any railroad depot, but not standing where the paying people are. I'll be busy making reservations for a first-class ticket on a cattle car. But you'll never find this hobo in an airport, 'cause I ain't found out how to hitch a plane. But if you want to see a master working, just stand back and watch this hobo catch a train. You might find me dining late some evening, but not in a cafe with a fancy name. And I won't be eating steak from Kansas City, but a can of beans cooked on an open flame. But you'll never find this hobo in an airport, 'cause I ain't found out how to hitch a plane. But if you want to see a master working, just stand back and watch this hobo catch a train. Once a year I gather with my brothers, praying for the good of all mankind. And if you listen close, you'll hear me sing those Salvation Army songs at Christmas time. Shall we gather at the river? But you'll never find this hobo in an airport, 'cause I ain't found out how to hitch a plane. But if you want to see a master working, just stand back and watch this hobo catch a train.
Thanks to Merle Haggard for this fine tribute to America's veterans. This radio station has contributed broadcast time in the public interest to this program, produced by the Veterans Administration in cooperation with the American Federation of Musicians. They all join me in saying, here's to veterans.
And this is Merle Haggard saying thanks for listening.
Hey, this is George Lindsay. Well, you might have seen me on the television show Hee Haw, and you might say that I'm successful. But what is the secret for success? You know what it is? The GI Bill. I went to acting school on the GI Bill, and it'll open the doors to acting school, high school, college, on-the-job training. Whatever you need, they'll give it to you. And you'll have a good career. So go down to your closest VA office, my friend. Ask about it.
Randy Crawford on Here's to Veterans. Here's to Veterans, a toast from this radio station to former servicemen and women, transcribed by the Veterans Administration in cooperation with the American Federation of Musicians, whose members donate their talents to keep you entertained and informed. Here's Randy.
It's not my way to love you just when no one's looking. It's not my way to take your hand if I'm not sure. It's not my way to let you see what's going on inside of me. When it's love you won't be needing, you're not free. Please stop pulling at my sleeve if you're just playing. If you won't take the things you make me wanna give. I never cared too much for games, and this one's driving me insane. You're not half as free to wonder as you claim. But I'm easy, yeah, I'm easy. Give the word, I'll play the game, as though that's how it ought to be, 'cause I'm easy. Don't lead me on if there's nowhere for you to take me. If loving you would have me be a sometime thing, I can't put bars on my insides. My love is something I can't hide. It still hurts when I recall the times I've tried. But I'm easy, yeah, I'm easy. Take my hand and pull me down. I won't put up any fight, 'cause I'm easy. Cautious words and ways behind. That's why I'm easy. Yeah, I'm easy. Take my hand and pull me down. I won't put up any fight, 'cause I'm easy. Yeah, I'm easy. Hi, I'm Randy, and you just heard the song I'm Easy from my first album on Warner Brothers Records, called Everything Must Change. I'm Easy comes from the movie Nashville, and it was written by Keith Carradine. We've got some more music lined up for you, and we'll be back after a few words for the Veterans Administration.
That's right, Randy. You know, more than 6 million veterans have gone to school under the Vietnam-era GI Bill since it was passed by Congress in 1966. Some of those men and women went to colleges, universities, or professional schools. Others took up job training programs. Whatever type of training they took, many a career was launched by this most important GI Bill program. In fact, someone once said, GI stands for greater income. Well, you can expect that if you prepare for your future by getting a good education. You can go to school anywhere in the USA. The Veterans Administration has also approved some schools and courses in foreign countries. You earned the right to educational help by your time in military service. You'll be cheating yourself if you don't take advantage of it. I'll be back in a few minutes to talk more about that, but first in music, what's next, Randy?
Gonna Give Lovin' a Try. It's a song that I recorded a couple of years ago with Cannonball Adderley. It was my first recording debut. And about 2 years ago, last year rather, at the Shrine Auditorium, we recorded it live, and it's live here on the album. And I really like this song. I played the part of Carolina on his Big Man album in about 72. So here's my version of it live on my own album.
Got a bird flying inside. Hey, you open and set him free. Give that bird the sky, 'cause I'm gonna give loving a try. Gonna give loving a try. Got 2 feet that gotta leap, feeling strange but feeling fine. Got a sun that's gotta rise and shine. Feel the wind lifting my wings. Feel my heart breaking the shell away. Little bird, go on and fly. Yes, I'm gonna give loving a try. Feel the grapes bending my vine. Feel my soul stirring the wine in me. Breaking bread am I. I'm gonna give living, gonna give flying. I'm gonna give loving a try.
More music, Randy Crawford style, in just a moment. You know, it's embarrassing and discouraging to be told you're not qualified when you apply for a job. If you have a family and bills, it can be painful too. Well, if you're an eligible veteran, you can do something about that problem by going to school on the GI Bill. That's because the Veterans Administration will send you a check each month while you're in school. You can attend a vocational business or professional school, a college or university. Veterans who can't spend time in a classroom because they're looking for a steady job can enroll in correspondence schools. The VA also approves apprenticeship or other on-the-job training programs. Whatever your career or professional ambitions may be, the VA and the GI Bill can give you a big boost toward achieving your goals. Stop in soon and talk to a counselor at your nearest Veterans Administration regional office or a veterans service organization. My friend, you'll be glad you did. Music now, Randy Crawford. How about more music?
You're about to hear a song by Neil Sedaka called I Let You Walk Away. I think it's a beautiful ballad, torch ballad, and I like it a lot. I hope you like it too.
I believe that nothing lasts forever. Promises won't help us stay together. Life for us was never hearts and flowers, my friend. It's sad to think we couldn't solve our problems. Maybe it's because we tried so seldom. So much will change today that I can only hope and pray. As I watch you leave the room, that I'll see you very soon. And it's all that I could do to keep from running after you. And though I wanted to, I let you walk away. It's just a simple case of heartbreak. My hands begin to tremble and my knees shake. But in my heart I pray, I've shown you a brighter day. As you turn to leave the room, I hope I'll see you very soon. And it's all that I could do to keep from running after you. And though I wanted to let you walk away, I let you walk away. I let you walk away.
This is Randy Crawford, and I've sincerely enjoyed being on Here's to Veterans, and I look forward to being on your program again. And now to close the show, here's a song by the Beatles, Don't Let Me Down.
Nobody ever loved me like he does. Oh, he does. Yes, he does. And if somebody loved me like he do me, oh, he do me. Yes, he does. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. I'm in love for the first time. Don't you know it's gonna last? It's a love that lasts forever. It's a love that has no past. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. And from the first time that he really done me, oh, he done me good. I guess nobody ever really done me. Oh, he done me good. Don't let me down, baby. Don't let me down, no. Oh, don't let me down. Don't let me down.
Thanks to you, Randy Crawford, for this fine tribute to America's veterans. This radio station has contributed broadcast time in the public interest to this program, produced by the Veterans Administration in cooperation with the American Federation of Musicians. They all join me in saying, here's to veterans.
From Hollywood, this is Randy Crawford saying, I love you and God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Sergio Franchi. I'm a naturalized American, not native-born like most of you, and I'm still learning new things about our wonderful country, about veterans' benefits, for instance. Now, the Veterans Administration can help you veterans in more ways that you may know. Beside educational allowances, they offer low-cost life insurance, home loans, and job counseling. They are people you ought to know. You like what they can do for you. This is Sergio Franchi's suggestion. Contact the VA today.